Hello, welcome everybody. As announced, this workshop is dedicated to Robert Avakian's 19th anniversary. In my few slides, I'll try to introduce the main goals of this workshop. So we are trying through memories of people who worked and communicated with him during his pretty long for a scientist career, covering last 40 years of Soviet Armenia and 30 years of the independent Armenia, to cover different parts of the mosaic of the legacy of Robert. He was our link with founders of Soviet and Armenian physics schools. He had a good school and was trying hard to transfer to next generation all the energy and enthusiasm about the physics research he got from his teachers. So we start with the roots and then main activities and some lessons from that. So his teachers. Here are three physicists with a major impact on the formation of Robert as a scientist. They represent the golden age of Soviet Union, when Soviet Union in 60s, surprisingly, at least for some of us, looked much better than some competing developed countries. So first is Abram Isakovich Alikhanov, a long-term director of ITEP. His brother, Artem Alikhanyan, who created the Aragats and Norambert high-altitude cosmic stations and the Yerevan Physics Institute itself. And finally, Mikhail Leonovich Termikhailian, a teacher and a colleague. That was the era of titans founding their own institutions, with physics being the most powerful and driving force behind the progress. When we were going with Robert on main and most important features he got and was trying to transfer to new generation when trying to understand the roots, he pointed out these three items on the top of the list, including the initiative, enthusiasm, and making impossible possible. To some extent, those were triggered by his first experience with Alikhanov, his first advisor. So the first advice he got when he came to Alikhanov as a PhD student and asked, what should I do? The answer was short. Read the literature in the library for 2 weeks. If you will not have the answer, go back home to Yerevan. So that was Alikhanov. Now, going to main activities. During years of working at Yerevan Physics Institute, Robert worked on a variety of subjects. Most important are listed here. So his thesis work, the polarized photon beams, studies of radiation in crystal, organizing collaborations, big and small, and Hermes in particular, post-Soviet collaboration, cyclotron, number of other projects, social activities. So I'll go briefly through them. So most important are here. And when we asked him to single out three most important in the list, he underlined those three with very different impact on himself and the physics. So the thesis work was under supervision of Alikhanov. One of the videos we tried to prepare, Robert talking about his work, shows the importance of that part and how it affected his future. So I'll come back to that. Polarized photon beams will be covered by Sergei Taroyan. Probably the longest period was dedicated to studies of different radiations in crystals. And Sultan Dabagav prepared a very nice presentation on that. As you see, Robert himself considered creation of the Yerevan Physics Institute group at Hermes as his second most important achievement. The expression that I got from Suren Karabekyan's memories describing him as a satellite launcher characterizes well his activities in the period of the collapse of Soviet Union, when he started unknown to many Soviet scientists work of a manager. Some of his Hermes colleagues will cover the work of the Yerevan group, which was certainly one of the most active elements of the Hermes collaboration. In post-Soviet era, life got tougher, and physicists who never had any major problems with funding had to write all kinds of grants that will be covered in presentations of his colleagues from YRFI. His third most important achievement, according to Robert, he points to that in the video that we prepared about the is about the cyclotron. He was just satisfied by the fact that it was created, even he was not actively involved in the latest stages. We wish great health to Albert Avitisyan, a great person, and as far as I can tell, closest in spirit and approaches to work with Robert. Some people I reached, like Peter Bosted, Kit Griffin, some others, sent me their warmest regards, but considered the collaboration they were trying to create, the Pegasus is one example, didn't eventually work out. So once you put together the list of projects that didn't work out, you see the huge amount of work going on and number of projects failing to give start to new ones. Finally, as you will see, the social activities were important part of the networking. It's bringing together people and creating a cozy atmosphere played a significant part in creativity and generation of new projects. Now, what few words about his first work. This is just one slide on the first important step of Robert as a scientist, which I think created him as a scientist and had a major impact on all people around him and us in the first place. As a PhD student, he got a result which contradicted all the existing knowledge on the subject. So head of the institute, ITEP, Ali Khanov, and his thesis advisor refused to sign his paper, but allowed him to publish on his own risk. The defense of the thesis waits quite some time until some experimentalists in Europe decided to check the weird observation and confirmed it. The feeling of well done work that gives you confidence to defend it, even if everyone else considers it wrong, and because it seems to contradict all the knowledge accumulated before, and followed by excitement of eventually being recognized for being right, is very rewarding for a scientist, and its importance is hard to exaggerate. I hope we all will carry over this feature of making impossible things possible and manage to pass it to a new generation. Initiatives is a crucial thing to find those impossible projects, and enthusiasm is critical, as if you are not excited with what you do, you better go do something else. That was his advice. So we are looking forward for discovering some new elements of Robert's legacy in presentations by people who had chance to communicate with him. Thank you.